I'm Brian Van, Sportbike and today we're going to break down the GB Racing secondary engine cover install. It's a three-piece kit on our 2018 STG Kawasaki Ninja 400 project bike. Okay, before we jump into the install, let's just talk about the product. The covers come with good, clear instructions. They include images. The biggest thing is which bolts do you need to remove, and if there are variances in fastener length for the covers, like you see here. These three bolts are the same length. This one is a little bit longer. The instructions will very clearly call out which fasteners go in which hole, so you don't have any issues with getting the right length in the right spots, because that is very critical. Now, focusing on the product a little bit itself. High quality, excellent fit. We've done this on multiple bikes now, and each and every time they have fit very, very well. I'm trying to flex this right now, okay, and there's not much movement to it at all, even with a lot of pressure exerted. These are designed to not only manage abrasion, right, you can see it's built up a little bit in that impact area, but also help add some structural strength for a tip over or a crash to help disperse the load so you're not impacting on those brittle OE covers. You're pushing the energy out to the edges where it's easier to manage. And as said earlier, these bolt literally right over your OE covers. The kit for the Ninja 400 is three pieces. It includes a Stator secondary cover, a clutch secondary cover, as well as a water pump secondary cover. On the 400, I removed all the bodywork, the side panels that is, to do this install video. You need to remove the full fairing on the right side in order to access the water pump cover. On this side, you could facilitate the majority of the install without removing the fairing completely, okay? So do what's best for you. On this Ninja, we have videos showing you how to remove the bodywork. It's really easy, and oftentimes with a project like this, more access simply makes it easier to do the project and get a good result. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive into the install. What I like to do before I do this is I like to put the secondary cover over the OE cover. It's just going to give me an idea of which fasteners need to come out. So it's these four. 8 mil, got it on a spinner T-handle. Save all of your OE hardware. Okay, don't ever throw any of this stuff out. It's good quality stuff. You may need it if you ever have to take this cover off in the future. Installing these does not disturb the gasket. Okay, it's important to note that. I was going to throw this up here one more time, make sure I've got the right two. Does not disturb the gasket, so we shouldn't experience any leaks of fluid at all during the install. Very important to note that once you have completed the project, you need to start and run the bike and check for leaks, just for safety. Odds are nothing's going to happen, okay? 99.9 out of 100 times nothing's going to go wrong, but it's safe. It's always best to be safe, and just take the time to start and run the bike before you ride it. Go ahead and slide that secondary cover over. The 45 mil length fastener goes there. The rest are all just 40s, all the same length. Get them all started. Nice quality hardware from GB. Same 8mm hex head. Okay, just kind of get them all started there. Hands. Now what I'm going to do is run them down just enough to get the cover held tightly against the OE cover. There is no torque applied to that at all. If you prefer to use a torque wrench, they do include torque specs with the instructions. Now would be a great time to get your torque wrench out and go ahead and do that. I typically do not use torque wrench in my videos. Now that I have them all run down so they're flush, what I'll do is I'll run around it and apply even torque. I like to do a couple of passes. So basically torquing it in stages. Oftentimes I'll also just run around, just check the other OE fasteners to make sure nothing's loose. We're already here, this only takes a second. Okay, now we're going to move on to the water pump secondary cover. You can see that this tab here is going to be in the way, right? I'm going to take that fastener out. So we can get that out of the way, and that's just going to allow us to be able to install it. Important to note too, when doing the water pump secondary cover, make sure the motor's cool, okay? We don't want any pressure in the cooling system that could create a leak when you start to remove the fasteners, right? So just best practice for this one would be having the engine cool. Just like on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and line it up to see which fasteners need to come out. So it's 2 and 1. We do still have more fasteners in that water pump cover, so I don't expect that we'll have any coolant leaks here. Each of these 3 fasteners are the same length. Run them all down just until they're seated. And then we'll begin to apply torque in stages just like on the other side. We will reinstall the fastener that we pulled to get that wiring harness retainer out of the way. Okay, now the clutch secondary cover. Go ahead and line this up. So we got 2 here, and 1 there, 1 there. Slide the cover into position. All these bolts are the same length. Let's get them started. They have these recessed quite a bit in some spots, so it makes it hard to start it with your fingers. That's why I use the T-handle. The reason they do that is to protect the fastener in the event you have a crash. Once again, just get the overcover fasteners all seated evenly. Then we'll go ahead and apply final torque. And I'll check a lot of the other OE fasteners too that we haven't disturbed, just to make sure that everything else is tight. Okay, and there is the clutch secondary cover installed on the bike. Okay, so there you have it. We have all three of the pieces installed now on the bike. As you can see, this is a relatively basic project. The toughest part is probably going to be removing the side fairings from the bike. Like I said, on this side, due to the water pump secondary cover, you need to have this entire fairing off. On the other side, you could leave the fairing on, pull some fasteners out, and kind of, just move it around a little bit, manipulate it, and still get the install done over there. It'll save you a little bit of time. Reasons to install this, very simple. If you're track riding, racing at all, you have a tip over or crash, this is going to help protect those OE covers so you can pick the bike up, ride it more, and have more fun. For a street rider, is this a necessary mod? It's never a bad idea, even for street riders, especially as this is a bike that's really geared towards newer riders. They get dropped. It happens, okay? And this is going to help dramatically reduce the possibility of engine cover damage. And when that happens, remember, you're done riding, okay? You damage the engine cover, you're leaking oil, you're not riding at home, you're gonna need to get a tow truck, and that stuff's a real pain in the ass for sure. This is our GB Racing secondary engine cover install video on our 2018 Kawasaki Ninja 400 STG project bike.